This is a real special effect painted on a miniature. I wanted to find the world's best object source lighting on a painted Warhammer Mini, but the problem was there's so many artists out there in the sea of painted plastic. So after much looking, one artist kept on coming up to the surface, Elminiaturista. MiniWarGamer Dave here from MiniWarGaming.com, and I'm the hobby hunter. And these are my top 10 picks for the best object source lighting. At number 10 is this Votan Warriors Hacking Beam, which I already showed off because what better way to introduce this whole thing than to show you this awesome new concept, man. Never seen this before. It's insane. One, where did you get the idea to do this? I want to know what's inside your... I don't know if I want to know. It might be pure chaos. In that case, it's ultimate heaven for me. I love it so much. Burning our way to number 9, Too Hot to Handle. We got an Infernus Templar here, and look at that flamer coming out of the flamer. We talk about object source lighting, and when I was a brand new hobbyist and I heard OSL, which is the acronym for it, I didn't have a clue what that was, but I had to see something visually for it to click. This is a perfect picture that depicts OSL. It looks like the armor is being lit up by that flame in front of him, and it makes the flame look real. This goes beyond Uncanny Valley, folks. Like, it looks real. Juan, are you sure that's not like a real flame and you actually just took a snapshot of like a real life flamer in motion? Is that what we're actually looking at right now? By the way, you're an absolute madman with the amount of content you're constantly posting on your account. It's insane. When I see the light of this flamer, I wonder what it would look like on a canvas. And I'm specifically talking about my Mini Factories canvas, and look at this light, similar to a flamer. It's a flaming sword on this Valkyr. Look at the OSL on this piece. By the way, there is a marriage of two worlds here. This is the Valkyr from Ravage Star as she's interacting with these two Ultramarines. Fantastic job, OverlordNemo. And you might be thinking, hey, this video is about Elminiaturista. Well, it is. And this is the sponsored portion of the video. And this is my encouragement to you to go over to Canvas and post the pics of your painted minis. So if you have any OSL that you've done and taken pictures of, just go and dump them over there. Use that canvas. It's a blank canvas and it's for you to use. Charging our way to the number 8 spot, and because it's Korn's number, I wanted to see something gore-soaked, but I didn't find it because this is OSL. But what I did find was... Korn demands combat. Oh. Morande says it really well. Este fuego tan molón estaba en el Patreon, Juan? And to that I would say, yeah, it's probably a tutorial on Patreon, right? Elminiaturista? Apologies if I absolutely butchered that Spanish. Swords with Strangers adds, how is that fire so bright? Do you mix light bulbs into your paint? That's a fantastic question. And it's not even just the lighting here. Look at this face. Fantastic work on the fire of the base here, starting with the white, then adding the airbrush, the different colors. It looks like this flame is really on the ground. And I love how the bullets are just bouncing right off. Like, just so like a berserker. I think the butcher's nails are really just effortlessly at work here. Stepping inside at number 7, we're coming out of the walls, man. I just had to, because this is fantastic. Look at this scene. This is a diorama. You got this guardsman who's running at a bunch of Tyranids? Like, what? First off, brave. Okay, he lasted longer than 2 seconds, which is phenomenal. And you also have this lighting from above, just as he happens to be running past it, which is beautifully contrasted by that las gun going right into the middle of the fray of those bugs down the hall. Plus, you got the glow on the floor from that beam. Man, it's just so good. I just love stuff like this. Thank you for the dopamine, Juan. You know exactly what you're doing, okay? I'm being visually manipulated here, and happiness is just happening in the brain. Getting hot down the corridor, we've got This Is How We Do It sitting at number 6. And to this one-page tutorial, Juan adds, hi, my friends. Today I bring you an old workflow of a magenta plasma. Also different photos to check its relative brightness against other colors or scene. The thing I like about this is you see the step-by-step process, how he achieves the bright, glowing look. Often we see painted miniatures and it's like, wow, that looks really cool. How did you do that? This we get a little glimpse behind the curtain and we see the process. So thank you for that. I can only guess that this is more of what you discover on Patreon, Elminiaturista's Patreon specifically, but I wouldn't know. You would have to go and see for yourself. I've included links to his Patreon because there's going to be people asking. They're going to be like, Dave, why didn't you do that? You're talking about it the whole time. Why don't you just do it? So, okay, I will. Blasting over to number 5, we have Hotshot. So first off, super cool. I love how he's behind that cover and he's not going to be killed immediately, even though he is a guardsman and, 2-second lifespan on the battlefield. And thank you, Juan, for asking the question, what do you think the laser beam is on your post? And not telling us the answer and putting a thing in our brains to drive us nuts. If I were to guess, I think this is a toothpick. That's a question, not a statement. That would be my guess. My guess is that you've already left the answer, probably on your Patreon. Did you hide that behind that I'm just kidding. You gotta put spaghetti on the table. You gotta put food. I don't know. You guys leave a comment. What do you think? Revving our way to number 4, we have On the Hunt. I'm partial to Space Wolves or the Vilka Fenrica. I don't know why I have to say it that way. It could just be Vilka Fenrica. I really don't know the proper pronunciation, and I mess it up every single time. And I feel like I got to say it multiple times just to throw it out there and make it all safe. I'm getting completely distracted from the OSL on the floor itself. Look at that. Isn't that insane? It's on the chainsword too. Oh, that's just so cool. Every time I'm transported to being a little kid in my brain because I see bright colors and and it's eye candy. So thank you for the sweetness there, Juan. Once again, all of the sweetness. Mark Guitar 80s and 90s says, where can I buy it? You know what? That's my question. Where can I buy this? Elminiaturista, is this for sale? And if not, why not? Why don't you sell your things? Just do it. Just rev your way to glory and sell all the lighting OSL plastics of eye candy. Because I'm hungry. At number 3, we have the Heir of Sigismund. Are you trying to make me like Black Templar more than I should? What's going on here? Oh, by the way, I think it's actually pretty cool how you said you're proud of this one and that you were looking forward to finishing it. And, I think it's important to be proud of one's work, which I can clearly see why with this piece. How are you reflecting light off of that cloth like that? It's one thing to do it against armor, and that's more of a obvious thing, one would think, but to do it against cloth too, and to sell it visually, I think there's a reason why there is an association with OSL and Elminiaturista. That's just my take on it. I got a biased eye. It's not like I've been looking at this stuff for a little while, looking at a number of pictures. Walking our way at number 2 is Come and Get It. Yes, there's that flame on the ground, which is reflected off of the ball and chain there, okay? Or the morning star, or the whatever. This guy's really happy. Woken up in the morning. No, he's grumpy as hell, man. That's nuts. And I did notice the tattoo on his shoulder, which reminded me of The Rock. This dude is also bald. Is this an orc rock? That actually sounds... Is this The Rock as an orc? There you go. Yeah, context. But it's super cool, and I like the different color, because you got a lot of Space Marine stuff on your account. Let's face it. There's a lot of power armor here, Elminiaturista, right? It's nice to see something different on the account. And what better than a green skin swinging his way to glory? Before we dive into my number 1 pick, honorable mentions. First up, we have Moonsta minis and this Dark Rider of Doom. Nope, it's not a Dark Rider. It's going around in a circle. It's completely distracting me, and I love every second of it. I love it so much. How did you do this? I'm not even going to ask. Oh, the plastics and the dopamine. I love it. Next up, we have Deathwing Knight by Angel Giraldez. I think it's very appropriate that we show off this glowing sword on this new knight. It's pretty awesome. Let's face it. Angel, there's a lot of talent that we clearly see for years and years, so thank you for your contributions to all of the eye candy that you're responsible for. Is it just me? Is my perspective here, right? I'm like, what's the deal with all of that skill and talent concentrated on that area? You put a pin in the world on a globe and it's yep, okay, miniature painter talent, boom, right there. And at last, we have the number 1 pick for Elminiaturista, which is the Terminator. Look at this. First off, immediate nostalgia. Thank you very much. Terminator 2, that's exactly what I envisioned. Okay, like look at that. Job well done there. Second, this is a downloadable STL on your Patreon. Well, I see how that's working. Making me want to go and get the yes, I'm gonna do it. Third, let's look at the paint job itself. Wow, that looks like it's actually hot. Like I would burn my fingers if I picked it up. Damn. And wonderful choice of the blue and the orange contrasting colors brings me back to art class. And oh, what's the complementary color to blue? Well, it's orange. And you know, when that thought's inside Elminiaturista, what happens? Yeah, let's turn a Terminator into Terminator and make him terminate this wall and create this sphere of molten hot awesome. It's insane. Looking at all this stuff, looking at your entire account, I encourage everyone to hop over to Elminiaturista. On Instagram, I've included the links to the Patreon once again. Everywhere, man. Like, we're celebrating this art, and that's so awesome. Also remember, leave comments on who do you think I should focus on next in another episode of Hobby Hunter, because this is all just fun. Again, reminder to hop over to Canvas as well on My Mini Factory. They are the sponsors of this video, and it once again is a place where we can go to dive into the art, dive into the colors, splash that color on that canvas, and let's see what we come up with together. I'm MiniWarGamer Dave, and I'm the Hobby Hunter.